So the next phase after the environmental scan is a situation analysis. And again, the environmental scan was to identify key issues that we need to take into account in the planning. Situation analysis is to look at them and in terms of whether or not they are good things or bad things as we take them into our planning process. One of the tools, and everybody uses it because it's very easy to explain. There are lots of tools that we use to evaluate. This one's very simple. It's also very robust, which means that you can do it on the back of a cocktail napkin and it can have value, or you can spend lots of money and do a systematic review. The process is good in any case. And what this does is you take the issues and you put them into this 2x2 matrix. On one axis we have whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. And on the other axis we have whether it's internal or external. We talked about micro and macro, internal and external. Internal is something you have control over. External is something that affects all businesses, not just yours. And you end up with this 4x4 matrix where you have strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat. SWOT, S-W-O-T. And some people will really confuse you and they will call it a TOES analysis. Threats, opportunities, weaknesses, strengths. Just because they're real negative. So the point is you've got all of these key issues that you've identified and you want to lay them out in this matrix. Is it something you have control over? Is it something that affects all organizations? Is it good or is it bad? And so strengths, those would be things that you have control that affect your business and are positive. And ideally, this is where your competitive advantage comes from. There are things that would be something that's unique to your company, either a capability or a resource that's available to you and nobody else that can be used as a source of sustainable competitive advantage. You've heard the concept of an elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is you should be able to describe what it is you do to somebody who doesn't know what you do in 30 seconds or less. The idea being that you get stuck in an elevator with a venture capitalist and you got from the time you get to the first floor to the third floor to make your case. If you're not that clear as to what it is that you're doing, you need to get clearer. Kurt Vonnegut has a wonderful phrase where any scientist that can't explain what he does to a 4-year-old is a charlatan. What is it, and the way I put it is, what is it that you do better than anybody else that people are willing to pay you money for? When it comes to a business plan, what is it, so if I am a hotel and I have a location that overlooks the ocean, that's something that other hotels don't have, and I could use that as an opportunity to develop a sustainable competitive advantage. Weaknesses are bad things. So I may have a great location, but I may not have the finances to be able to redevelop the hotel the way that I want it to. Opportunities are things in the external environment that are favorable to you. So the economic environment, has somebody just passed a law that requires people to use your product? Somebody just passed a law that says your product is no longer illegal. Hello, Prop 64. But again, those are things that are beyond your control but would have a positive impact on the goals that you're trying to accomplish. And threats are things in the external environment that would have a negative consequence. So it's still illegal at the federal level. That's a threat.